Jaja Binks, Jaja Binks. Me say your humble servant, Jaja Binks, Jaja Binks. Oh, muy, I love you, Jaja Binks. Me say go Jaja Binks.
Hello everybody, some would say I'm the reverse, and welcome to my review of The Flash Season 9, Episode 5, titled Mask of the Red Death, Part 2. This is, of course, the finale to the Red Death arc. Finally, this arc is over. I really haven't enjoyed this arc very much. There were 2 decent episodes in it. The rest were pretty bad, including this episode. This was a really stupid episode throughout, hence why I'm so late with my review. It's honestly, I was just struggling to find things to talk about, and just how I was going to talk about it, because I really did not enjoy this episode at all. But yeah, let's just jump right into this. So, of course, the main storyline involves Red Death herself. She's kind of like a telepath all of a sudden. She can, use these mental abilities to create these sentinels, these clones of her, around the city. It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. Her powers come out of nowhere. I don't know how you can create clones of yourself with telepathy. That makes no sense, but it is what it is. I'm so done with this arc. At this point, I don't care. But it was really stupid. The Sentinels, is clones the only thing that Eric Wallace knows how to do for a finale? He's done it for the Mirror Master storyline. He's done it for the Godspeed storyline. It's just gotten so old, and it's always the same thing. It's always a power outage. It's always the clones. It's always the same thing. All of his finales are the same thing. It's really annoying. I miss when the finales were actually, there was emotion in it. The season 1 finale was, should I go back and save my mom? That's a huge decision. Season 2, it was, the rivalry between Barry and Zoom, and it ended, of course, with Flashpoint and all that. And now it's just, okay, there's a villain, they clone themselves, or there's clones, there's an army, and they wreak havoc on the city, and Barry has to run around and stop them. And it's like a child wrote it. It's really ridiculous. But yeah, the final fight scene between Red Death and Barry was fine. I did like seeing some more speedster action for once, but there was some stupid stuff in here, like Barry makes a shield out of lightning out of nowhere. Now, of course, Speed Force constructs are things that we've seen in the past. The lightning swords, for example, the lightsaber duel at the end of Season 7 being the most infamous and notorious usage of that. But this just didn't really fit the fight. It came out of nowhere. So Red Death is throwing these batarangs, Barry's blocking him with a shield. It's stupid. And then Red Death, made a rope or something, or, a Spider-Man web thing, and she was swinging from it. It's just so dumb. And then Batwoman came out of nowhere as well, to help with the fight, which was really stupid. We all knew Batwoman was coming back based on the set photos, but they literally didn't explain where she came from. She was missing last episode. Luke Fox did not know where she was. She'd been missing for a week. They didn't even touch on where she'd been, I believe. I might have missed it, but I don't think that they did. It was really stupid. Just the whole storyline is stupid. The one good thing about this episode, in this storyline, was seeing Grodd again. Basically, Red Death had been using Grodd to boost her telepathy powers. And Barry goes and, asks him to stop and to help him, yada, yada, yada. Grodd didn't do anything in the episode. He was just there. His CGI wasn't great, but it was cool to see him again. That's all I gotta say. Unfortunately, the voice actor has confirmed that is the last we will be seeing of Grodd on the show. So, Grodd, he's been a staple of the show for 9 seasons. Really awesome character. Luckily, they never managed to ruin him, I think. Even when they turned him good in Season 6, I really liked that episode, that storyline. They got close in this episode by making him regress and become a villain working for Red Death again, but it wasn't bad. It was cool to see Grodd again. Overall, a great villain, and, yeah, that's all I really have to say. Other than that, though, the rest of the stuff in this episode was just stupid. We had Mark. Mark, of course, didn't die. He wasn't killed last episode, which we all knew was the case. They're not just going to kill off Mark like they did with Caitlin. Still, they're mourning Mark and they're grieving Mark way more than they did Caitlin, which is just so ridiculous. But yeah, he's back, and the episode ends with Keon just, like, kissing him, and he's revived or resuscitated or whatever. I just can't handle it. I can't handle the show anymore. It's just so dumb. Joe leaving. Joe decides to leave Central City. Him and Jenna are going to live in the country, and apparently Cecile is just fine with that. Okay, there's no world where she'd be okay with that, but whatever. I just wish they would have given more effort to actually explain why Jesse L. Martin isn't going to be in the season. I wish they would have actually come up with a good explanation besides, you know what, I don't want to be in danger anymore. After being a cop and being part of Team Flash for 9 years, all of a sudden he's scared of the danger and, like, scared of, raising Jenna in this life. It makes no sense. And then finally, the last thing to talk about is Iris being pregnant. Now, of course, we knew this was happening. The way they revealed this was just so dumb. She, like, gets lightheaded, and Keon's like, yeah, that's because you're pregnant. Of course, they give the moment to Keon because Keon gets everything this season. No one cares about Keon. Nobody cares about Keon. We also have an Allegra and Chester kiss. No one cares about those characters. I really hate this season so far, unfortunately. I thought episode 3 was fun. I thought episode 4 was decent. Episode 1 was fine, I guess. But episode 2 was horrible. Episode 5 was horrible. And overall, the Red Death storyline so far has been absolutely atrocious. And one of the worst things this show's ever done. Probably the most disappointing storyline in the show's history, up there with Flashpoint. I'd say at this point I am more disappointed by the Red Death storyline, because even though Flashpoint was, like, way too short, it had nothing to do with the comics, it was still good. It was still a fun episode. It was still a good episode. This was not a good storyline at all. It was horrible. But anyways, next episode is titled The Good, the Bad, and the Lucky. All we know from the trailers is that Keon's going to be getting some training. They're celebrating Barry and Iris, getting pregnant. And based on the title, and based on the fact that we know she's coming back, I think this is going to be a Hazard episode. Hazard, of course, Becky Sharp being a villain from Season 4. She's the luck lady. And I don't know how they're going to bring her back, because she did die at the hands of DeVoe. So I don't know if it's going to be Crisis or what, but she's coming back, I believe. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not excited for next week's episode. I feel like it's to be the weakest of the season, probably. Just based on, it's going to be filler. It's going to be about Keon, yada, yada, yada. It's not going to be good. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for all my future reviews. Hopefully the future episodes are better, so I can get my reviews out sooner. I have more motivation to actually talk about this god-awful show. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See ya.